the notifications. By the way, we'll be recording this session. That is done for the convenience of everyone. We'll be able to send you the link after the webinar. So whenever you have a moment, if you have something that wasn't still clear, you'll be able to go back and take a look at the recording. I hope that's okay for everyone of the present participants today. Basically, me and Sergio today will be, or our job today will be to unveil the truth about customization. We've gathered the most frequently asked questions from our customers, from agencies, from end clients that we work with around customization. So there are a couple of myths that we want to unveil. Basically, our job is to make sure that you have all the information to proceed. You know how it works, how we work. And yeah, without further ado, let's get to it. The word is Sergey.
Yeah, hi everyone. We'll have 15 small blocks for you today. 11 of them are questions, like Julia just mentioned, and for myth. We hear a lot about things that designers and companies and brands worry about, but maybe things are not that scary at all. So we'll cover a couple of questions about that. And I think, yeah, we're ready to go. The first question is for Julia.
Thank you. Happy to step in again. So let us start with the question number one. I'll read it out loud so it's easier. What is the difference between a custom modification of an existing typeface and a fully new typeface designed from scratch in terms of rights and ownership? This is a number one and most frequently asked question from our customers. I would like to start answering it by defining or outlining what is actually what are the difference between a custom custom typeface from scratch and a custom modifications based on an existing one. So basically, in a nutshell, modifying existing typeface, it's less custom. It's less costly. Basically, it's less expensive. Sergio, if you can, yeah, just maybe scroll through all of the pinpoints so everyone can see. It's a faster development timeline, and obviously provides you with some flexibility, but it is a little bit less flexible compared to a fully custom typeface from zero. Basically, it provides more flexibility, it gives you more exclusivity. However, it is connected to a longer production timeline and higher investment compared to a modification based on an existing type already created. Basically, we take it as a base and we apply changes on top of the existing one. So speaking about the rights and ownership, everyone is really curious. How does it work? Who owns what? What are rights? As you can see on the screen, there are some differences. If we're talking about a modification, a custom modification of an existing font, we're talking about non-exclusive rights. So that means the base font that was used as a base is owned by TypeType. That means there has to be a license, a commercial license that allows you to use this font for commercial purposes as a brand, as a company. Obviously, you're not allowed to resell it to anyone else. There is a certain EULA requirement or EULA license agreement required for such a process. We keep the rights for the original font. But however, based on your licensing agreement, you have the right to use the font for commercial purposes. Plus, you receive exclusive rights. It is possible you receive exclusive rights for the modification. Important to highlight about exclusive rights, we actually see a growing trend currently on the market that more and more brands there is this awareness growing on the market. Many more brands right now would like to own the font rather than just have a license, be it even a perpetual license or a subscription-based license. So more and more brands come to us with a question, okay, how do we do? We want to own the font. What is the process? How does it work? So speaking about the font from scratch, it's easy. Once we're done, you receive all the files. You receive the production files. There is no need for a license because this font has been created exclusively for you based on your ideas, based on your creative processes and everything. So there is no need for licensing. There is no need for EULA even. You completely own the font and you decide what to do with it next. I would also like to mention one of our flagship projects. It's Rocket. It's a mortgage bank, one of the largest in the US. I believe once you see that picture, you might probably think that probably was a font from scratch. It wasn't, however, the case. This was a deep customization of an existing font from our commercial type library. However, the changes were quite extensive. That allowed us to actually grant exclusive rights to the Rocket Mortgage Bank. Right now, they do own the fonts. As you can see, they deployed it all over their platforms through brand materials, marketing materials, just everywhere. And one important note, we keep working with the company on additional projects, such as expanding it to multifamily, for example, just finalized a project half a year ago. So it is quite a flagship project for us, and it proves once again that it is not necessary to invest in a font from scratch. However, if some companies have this preference, they can do it. But yeah, it is also possible to do based on an existing typeface. Everything is possible. One more important note, bespoke brand basically frees you from any dependency on from a type studio. So you're completely free to go with the font and do whatever you want, resell it. Maybe modified in the future if you decide, or if you have some ideas how to change it, you can go to another type studio and make modifications without having to ask for it. So that is it. I hope that was clear about this one. Sergio?
Yeah, thanks, Julia. Next question is mine. We usually get asked, do we work internally? Because it's a complicated process of font production, it's design, it's engineering, it's marketing and everything involved. So yeah, the question is the work primarily handled internally or is it also supported by external partners? We work in-house. Like we have a big team and Julia and I here, we work together in a joint client relations and project management team. We make the first initial phases of birth of the project, of all the communications, all the ideas and preparations, and then the project management team works closely with type designers and type engineers. Everyone is in-house. All the teams are within type. And more than that, it's not just production team, it's also marketing and graphic designers. So post-production, promotion, decorations or platform presence, everything is done again internally. So we are proud of that. It allows us to work flexibly on projects and on development and on long-term partnership with you. And that's another layer of how we work, of the process. We have type team and your team. Whether you're a brand or you're an agency, we work together as a one. It's not completely in-house, but this is our in-house and your in-house teams all together. That's how we make the magic happen. So that's in brief. This helps us to work on like joint promo, for example, to get fancy and cool awards after the project is completed, or go to the new project later in the future. That was short part by me. So Julia, please, the next question is yours.
Yes, speaking about cost ranges, people, designers, companies are really interested to know about indicative cost ranges for a customization project versus the one developed from zero, from scratch. It is a hard one. It's a good question. However, there are so many variables that we need to take into account when defining a cost estimate for a specific project. On the screen, you can see just a couple a list of variables that we need to understand and we need to know where we stand with the current project to be able to give you the cost range, the price range for your specific request. So it is important to understand, as an example, let's say we have a modern fintech brand uh, came to us with a request for five styles. They want a sans serif, modern feel, nice minimalistic aesthetic. Just five styles, quite straightforward, not complex. Basic Latin, maybe extended Latin for additional coverage, language coverage, and that's basically it. No italics. That would be one story. Another story is when a client comes to us, it's a legacy fintech, or not a fintech, legacy bank from the US. They have a sans serif. They want to refresh. They want a font completely from scratch because it's very important for them that they own the font, just one of the prerequisites. They have in total 15 styles plus italics. As you can understand, these two projects are not comparable. So there will be two different price ranges and obviously two different timelines for it. So it is quite important for us to understand, are we talking about a sans serif, maybe a display font, how many styles, whether there are some italics involved, how complex overall the scope of works. Are we talking about, again, custom typeface or from zero? Languages is one of the most important aspects here because we need to understand what language support is required additionally. If it's not present at the moment inside if the font doesn't support a specific language, we can calculate how much it would cost and how much time it would take us to develop this specific language support. And everything, all of this will also reflect on the timeline, how long it will take us to deliver this project. So it is quite specific. It's very hard to give you a cost estimate. However, we're always open. We're always here. We have you will be able to see our contact information. We can give you an indicative price range depending on your current request. They're not non-binding offers, obviously. So if you have an idea, just feel free to reach out to us at any time. Myself, Sergio will be able to. We're always happy to jump on a call, understand what you're looking for, what your idea is, what the project is about, or even if it's a small idea, to change some of the glyphs, maybe rename the font. This is something that we can work on, and we'll be able to deliver the cost estimate and the timeline, so you can make an informed decision. Yeah, but the message is clear. We need to understand what we're talking about because it would be really hard and probably it will cause a lot of confusion if there would be some numbers out there. But yeah, every case is different, so we decide and we love to handle every case by case.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Julia. So let's get to the myth number one, which actually follows from the previous question. So if you think you need to have a project, font-related project, and you think that you have to be a typography expert to start it, that's actually not really true because the only thing we require from you is your inspirational idea. We need, and we love when you understand what direction you would want to go. And even if you don't know it yet, you can just come to us and say that I want a modern, fun, sporty typeface. That will be already enough for us to understand the idea, and then we'll help you to go through the process because we guide you through typography strategy. We build a system like font architecture for you if you need more than one or two typefaces, and we help you to understand the implementation process even before we started the project. So if you want to go to a custom font project, you don't have to worry about the details. You just need to come to us and we will explain it how it works. Like recently, we had a project with a work in progress in the United States for Domino's Sons, and the core idea was to put the pizza shape right inside the typeface. So all the details, every grade of every radius of circles have meaning of the product on the typeface level itself. And apart from that, we have created new widths from super condensed to super expanded, containing the same idea. All the minor details highlight the whole idea of the typeface. So we can have just one symbol of your brand, for example, and anchor it to the geometry of typefaces, for example. So just an idea, come to us and we'll be happy to help you to see the ways and options how we can create it. Next question is mine. Again, I'll take even more time this time. So, what are your key technical and operational capabilities in font development? In other words, what differentiates us from the other type foundries in the world? So, we are proud to call ourselves a typeface or type or font powerhouse. We have quite grand team, over 80 people that work as, like I mentioned before, internally. We have global presence. We work with companies worldwide on all continents. We have full in-house powers, like again, like mentioned, all the designers, all the commercial departments, all the marketing departments, everything is already covered by leading engineering. We are one of the pioneers and one of the leaders in variable technology, in manual hinting technology. We work with the most modern standards of performance on all screens, in all environments, in all softwares that support, like, for example, variable technology. Um, we love experimental fonts to combine design and technology. So the fonts don't just transform in slant, for example, they transform visually from text to display and back just as you scroll the slider. So we focus on cross-platform performance and high-load performance on marketplaces, social media platforms. So that's something that makes us proud, and we are capable to afford it. We have our internal project management team, which helps to process multiple projects at once to work as a center core chain between the production team and commercial team and the client. And another fun thing we love to brag about is international awards. Like we mentioned, Rocket Project, which won gold awards in Muse Creative Awards this year. And we love to see the fonts not just perform in environments, but also winning awards and recognition from global juries. And a couple of more words about the project of Rocket Mortgage. Like Julia already mentioned, we created quite fresh and quite distinctive. You may see that it might be just a geometric sans serif, but it has an idea. It actually has a lot of minor details that bring brand values right on the level of typeface. And it's not only sans serif, it's also classic serif that was completely redesigned from another typeface, commercial typeface, and became something new and completely independent. And we noticed that Rocket Mortgage uses sans serif as a financial brand. It uses on the website, on applications, and all the communications in social media as the main brand font with a distinctive geometry, distinctive details that match with logotype. And they use serif for like quotes and for minor details to make some specific usage within one certain case. But also, this group has some other brands, and like for example, these pictures are from Instagram. The Rocket Classic account, they use the serif font as their main font. So it's in contrary, the sans serif is just supportive, like just a minor detail in their communications. And we see how this font becomes integral part of this brand and this identity. So, and that also was made in quite short timings, and that's because we just could do it, and we enjoy seeing it later. So now back to Julia.
Yes, thank you, Sergey. So speaking about how we work, our clients, agencies, everyone is interested to know how we work when we are talking about licensing an existing font, and on top we have a customization. So how could we work, and what are the scenarios? There could be many, but I decided to break it down to two. So the first approach would be if a client comes to us and they don't have an existing commercial license. And we're talking about customization, right? In this case, not from scratch. So it's important to differentiate. The first step would be define what typeface we're talking about, number of styles and everything, and define the ownership, the license agreement and everything to understand where the font will be used. That would be the step number one, because as I said before, the customization is always serves as a the license, apologies, the license always serves as a base. I like to think about it as peanut jelly butter sandwich, where the bread is the license. Without it, in this case, nothing can work because there is no right to use the font on a commercial basis. So the bread is an essential part. The peanut would be our typeface, which you decide to use as the base, as a starting point, and the jelly would be your ideas and how you want to make it your own and unique. So in all at once, we're basically consolidating the project. First, we define the license scope. Then we define the scope of works for the modifications. We discuss your ideas. We set a list of modifications, which is also will be reflected in the contract itself. So everything is documented and transparent. We discussed the timelines. We discussed the deliverables and the phases. So purchase the license, the first step, and then we move to the project launch. We can do it simultaneously as well. We can accept either 60% prepayment for the customization or 100%. It all depends on your internal regulations and how you actually handle these projects. But once again, 100% for the license, it's a non-negotiable because that's where it all starts. Or a step-by-step approach is the second option. Let's say if a customer decides to postpone the projects, we have some cases like this. They either already own the license, their existing customer, or they decided to just divide these two projects and handle the second part at a later point of time, given their current capabilities and workload. So we're talking about, once again, first defining the scope of the license for commercial use. We can also simultaneously discuss the scope of works for modification and just have it send you an unbinding offer, and you can come back to it at any point of time. Or we can just sell you the license and you go and be happy with it, use it, and then at some point you'll realize I want to make it more unique. That's probably what most companies do right now. They own a license and they just come back and they decide to do something unique with it. There's always a possibility you come back to us, you come to us and we start working again. So there is no restriction limitations. When you always can. So as I said, just feel free to reach out to us if you already have a commercial license. If you don't have it, no worries, we'll be able to consult you on that. So basically, we'll be your guide through the whole process.
Yeah, thanks. Back to production matters. We talked about in the first myth that you have to be an expert in typography, which is not necessary. But also, if you do not have any prior experience in typography, there is often questions we see from the even existing clients that, like Julia mentioned, for example, you already have the license for a font and you want to modify it to go to the next level of your typography. How do we support you through this process? Basically, there are several steps. We start with a vibe check and objectives. We ask simple questions, difficult questions. We love to be transparently in touch and to have a conversation about how do you feel, how you perceive your own brand and your own visuals and your own ideas. So, for example, you want to be sporty and strong. You don't want your brand and communications look too heavy and normal. You want something geometric, for example, or confident. Any words count, and we try to understand your internal emotions first of all, and then the emotions of your audience that you want to build or to support through your typography and communications. Then we go to mood boards and case study. We can provide several examples of how we usually handle it, and if you feel that's your way, we go this way. If you feel that's not your way, we find new routes for that. So it's always in open communications with you. We start with understanding the idea and the direction, and then, if necessary, we can add a layer of market research based on typography, like typographic market research on global or local markets of your brand. And then we build a strategy for how to implement. If it's, for example, step-by-step approach that Julia just explained, we can make a plan for you, the strategy plan, That first we go this, then we make the first initial works, and then in a year we can add like new styles and new display subfamilies, something like that. So we help you to understand what can be done and when. And then we go to sketching and type project. Sometimes we can go to sketching alone, for example, to show you the visuals of your future typeface. Like you said that you want it to be, you have a sport brand, you want your typeface to be sporty as well. So we can give you visual ideas how it will look like. And if you get overly inspired and excited, we can go straight to the type project right now or come back later, for example. So, but if you go to the project, sketching phase is inevitable. It will be included at the beginning. So we have the full support for you. Again, understanding your context, understanding your details, and then we help you to see your roadmap of the project even before the project started. So you again, you don't have to be expert in this field. You just we all are creative people. We love to see inspiration. So if you're inspired, we're inspired, and we go and create something great and even make history together. And now back to Julia.
Perfect. 7 is my lucky number. Thank you. Our customers are interested to know what happens when we just finalize the project and we found a bug or we came across an issue. How do we handle the revisions or support after the project is over? So it is a good one, and I think everyone wants to know that once the project is over, they won't be, left in the lurch, and they will be someone looking out for them and supporting. So with us, you are in good hands because we do offer technical support, and mind you, technical support at any time during and after the project has been completed and you received all the deliverables. You will have your dedicated manager. It can be me, it can be any of my colleagues. As you can see on the screen, we have a commercial department that is fully about taking care of you during, after, post-sale, pre-sale, and whenever you have any questions about or you have an idea, you have a request, we'll be there for you. So you will be your first person or first point of contact, and then we connect you with either project office team, and we work on the issue. Anything you need, whether it's a user screencast, we'll be able to guide you into the right direction if you've encountered an issue, typeface guides, or any questions you might have about the glyph sets. Basically, anything will be there for you. Important slide, a very important slide. It is important to know what is considered technical support and what we consider an implementation support. And I think it's quite straightforward. As you can see on the slide, there are everything that is outside of just to explain it more transparently, everything that was discussed before and is considered a current scope of works, because as I said before, we document everything. Every task has its specific, there is a line, for example, open the aperture in the glyph C, E, etc. So everything will be documented and we'll be able to get back to it or come back to it at any point of time. So we know what is the actual task, what are we supposed to deliver. It is important to be transparent about this. So technical covers the part where what we discussed before, and the implementation, it's basically any new requests, any new ideas. Let's say if we discuss to certain glyphs that they're supposed to, the aperture is supposed to be more closed, and then you at some point think, okay, maybe just make it slightly more closed. That will be a technical implementation. We'll be able to just adjust it. Those will be considered minor adjustments because they're within the current scope of work. But if it's something completely new, if you decide to change the proportions, maybe add some new logos, rename the font if it hasn't been discussed, that would be considered an implementation support. And everything what is under implementation is considered a new kind of request, a new project. Everything that is technical will be able to reply to you as soon as possible. It will have the priority for us because it's important that the font that we deliver works for you the way you expect it and the way we agreed. And in terms of pricing, it is complementary. The implementation will be handled as a separate project, and we'll be able to send you over the cost estimates. And we
Yeah,
have a myth.
thanks, Julia. Yeah, this one is yours.
Myth number two. Okay, let's see what it is. Creating a custom font is always extremely expensive and time consuming. This is what we hear again and again from our customers. If they're just, thinking about a commercial license, and we come to talk naturally about customization, maybe giving them a couple of ideas how they can make their the font that they just purchased more unique, more theirs, and that's what they think. It's a common misconception, and it is not completely true. Um, Basically, the most important message here is it is not true, because many projects, many custom projects can even start as a small baby step. You don't have to go completely into custom font from scratch, invest thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars to be able to achieve that uniqueness. We can actually start with small steps, or you can start small and just build on it. For example, you can integrate your logo. We can reorder the alternative sets. As you probably know, each font has an alternative set where it can change the mood and the overall visual of the font. Sometimes some companies prefer, for example, rounded diacritics instead of squared ones. So even that small detail will give the font a new feeling. We can change some glyphs, customize them a little bit based on your ideas, based on your vision. We can rename the font, make it more, instead of TT Commons, it can be TT, your name, brand, your idea. It will make, even if this small thing will make it more your own, and your employees will be able to see, okay, this is the font, this is our font. I know that I have the right to use it. Here's just a little cheat sheet. And some typography terms for you. This is something that we also like to share with our customers, because if someone doesn't really know where to start, we can tell, okay, here's what we can do. You can change the small things. Maybe it will, inspire you and give you some ideas where you can start. Change the proportions, terminal cuts, just, modify them, close the aperture, or open it to make it more friendly. Everything, basically, we're here for you to guide you. This is the slide that we share with customers that just want to know, what can I do actually, what is possible, because not everyone is aware. A small demonstration of a very minor detail, maybe you'll be able to notice it before, after. As you can see, the Telefonica has this very cute T with round diacritics. What we did, we just changed the diacritic shape, the shape of the diacritics from square to oval to round one, and it amazingly plays with the logo. So just this minor change already you can tell that there was something done, and it's just a perfect alignment, and it looks very, very organically. So yeah, this one is just a better demonstration of how good it aligns with the logo. Again, a small step, but visually it's a great match.
Yeah, thanks, Julia. Such changes, they add up to your audience the feeling of balance, of completeness, when you don't really notice that your dot is round instead of square. You just feel it, like Julia mentioned. And next question is mine, and then I'll just share you how we do that. How can we make any, even if it's minor or major adjustments? That's a quite common question, that what does a standard font customization process usually looks like? Like from start to finish, we provide you clear timelines, key stages, feedbacks before the project starts, so you know your project's in beforehand. But generally, at first we're getting ready, then we do the design part, and then we do the engineering part. Just three major steps of font customization or creation from scratch. The process is similar, or whichever route you prefer. So by getting ready, I mean, we need to define the scope of work, like Julia mentions, if it's customization, to get the license, to understand what we do and how we do, and then we form the phases like in what parts we do it, and then we estimate time and launch the project. Then we go to the design part. This is the most immersive part because, first of all, we create sketches, the ideas. This is the phase when we start to see what the font will be looking like. It's usually the image-based one. You receive a scalable PDF image that you can just apply to your mockups to see it. It's not a typing uh, process yet, but you can still see how it will look like. You get back to the feedback, we go through some review iterations, and then we finalize the idea, the concept. And after that, and only after that, we go to implementation. So we start creating and crafting the font itself and send you beta test files for iteration so you can already type it. It's without final engineering, maybe spacing and kerning is not working yet at this phase, but you will already be able to install and use the typeface in your mockups in your design system, and then give us feedback and we adjust something within the scope of work. And then after everything is great and you give us your permission that you are satisfied with the design part, we go to the engineering one. After we approve the design part, we do some magic under the hood and send you another file for final check. So you just delete everything, but all the beta files, everything that you thought about earlier, and you try to like test the new files. Usually they work great at this stage. Once you confirm they work great, we export it in the rest of the formats, in web and desktop formats, and you receive your final delivery, usually in 5 font formats. And then we often hear this question that how involved that the client team needs to be during the process. Like I mentioned, the phase of sketching ideas and implementation is the most immersive one. So we need you to be there to approve or to give your feedback, to adjust something during the creative phase of the font creation. It's usually around like 1/3 of the entire timeline. The initial phase, we need to settle it, and then we go to the production, which takes longer time with fewer iterations and fewer meetings. But this is the part when the client team, your team, usually needs to be involved. That's actually the fun part because this is when you feel the forming ideas, the birth of your new typeface, and that's always exciting. And sometimes you may think that you already have your fonts. You have established font system, especially with the free Google fonts that easily accessible. And then you think that by replacing them, that everything could be ruined. All the markups, all the metrics, everything will just break, and you'll have to manually readjust all the pages, all the screens, everything like that. That can be happening in general, but with us, we try to adjust the metrics. We have an answer for that. So we adjust the technical part of the font. So we don't change the design that much in this case. I mean, like of the ready to use typeface. We just align it with your existing system. So it can be baseline, it can be line height, it can be the even the kerning and the spacing that maybe, for example, you use a tighter fonts in your visuals in your screen. So we'll be there to make your transition to the new typeface, to the new system as seamless as possible. Again, thanks to our engineering department. And the next question to you, Julia.
Thank you, Sergey. Another concern from our customers, and I think we'll reiterate on this one because I might have mentioned it a couple of times already. It's about who owns the final result when we're talking about a custom typeface that is being modified. So the original, as I said before, it's the bread. The bread is the font that is intellectual property of Type Foundry. So we do not give exclusive rights to this font. So we keep the font. The rights are with Type. At any point in any situation, we do keep the TT. For example, TT Neoris Pro is owned by Type. But all the modifications, the jelly that we discussed, everything that is put on top of TT Neoris, as an example here, we can basically we can share this exclusive rights with you only for the modification part. The scope of works that we discuss, everything that is put on top, will be owned exclusively by you, by your brand. Let's say TT New Artist Pro has been renamed into TT New Life Pro or TT New Life or New Life Sans. This we do guarantee that this name and this specific modification in combined together cannot be you cannot find this specific font version anywhere. So this will be exclusively owned by you. I hope it is clear. And the commercial license, once again, is something that it's the bread. You need the commercial license to be able to make any adjustments or let us make any adjustments on the commercial font from our library.
Yeah, that might lead to the next myth, also to you, Julia.
We have myth number 3. It's about managing a custom font project being legally, and I think it's an operative word here, legally and technically too complicated. Speaking about legal matters, most companies, obviously, we have a close relationship between the legal teams because we negotiate the contract terms, and sometimes it can take months. Sometimes it can take a week. It depends on how fast the legal team of the client works because we are super fast. But yeah, it is quite important to define the terms of our current of our collaboration, right? Who owns what and who has the right for modifications, license, where to use, and so on. With TypeType, it is quite straightforward. Or I at least, I like to think about TypeType when we work on such projects as an extension, as a typographic extension of your team. Myself included, from client relations, from the commercial team, we act as a proxy between the legal teams. So we do make sure that all legal matters are settled. We do prepare the contract. From you, as Sergio mentioned before, your involvement is quite important. We do all the work. But it is important for us to get your feedback. For example, this clause, not okay, can we change to that? So we work on all the legal matters. We work on negotiating and double checking the red lines so that the contract is transparent and each party is content with its terms. So the legal matters are managed by us, and then we have the project management that offers the peace of mind. They work on all the processes. They do make sure that we are on time. They make sure that every process is transparent and you know when we expect the feedback. Once again, your involvement is crucial here because there is no collaboration, and we as a team, we obviously depend on you to give us feedback because at the end of the day, the project is yours. You are the leader of the project, but we guide you in the right direction and handle everything. So to say, like a back office. Technical matters and performance is also with the project management team. And we have our type designers, our magicians that work on making everything great for you.
Thanks, Julia. So we'll go to the 10th last but one question. This could be quite technical, but I believe at least some of you already thought about it. Can the existing fonts be optimized specifically for digital products and UI environments? Yes, they can. It's short answer, and answer with images would be like this. So usually you have already typography system, whether existing one or you plan on changing it, and you think that New Artist Pro looks quite great for your brand, and you know that one font can be used for headlines, for body text, and for UI. This font has a lot of alternative stylistic sets, and for example, you can just manually switch or customize it to be switched by default to make the more friendly and fun, like on this image, like headline, for example, it's still TT New Artist Pro, then have a neutral, readable, legible body text with TT New Artist Pro, and then you go to UI. For example, you need to have a higher spacing and wider metrics to fit in the bounding box of a button, for example. So again, metrics adjustment. You can have your font be adjusted specifically to your design system. The most common headache in UI is the buttons because the typeface is designed for body text by default. And the buttons and the navigations and all the elements of your UI, they may require different rules to operate. So we can help you to adjust your typeface, your chosen typeface, or maybe you already own a typeface. We can help you adjust it specifically to your environment and make a standalone version of the typeface. We can go, for example, to uni-width line. You know that when you change the boldness of your font, the length of the line changes. The buttons also change. They behave weirdly sometimes when you just try to find a new visuals. For example, go from regular to bold. With uni-width, you can have different proportions, but the same length of the line. This works great in UI, and you may be sure that if you change something in Element on Figma, for example, nothing changes in all of the screens that are connected to this specific instance. And it's not the same as monolith line. As you can see, the monolith is the mono font. It has equal distance between glyphs, and unibit is just a regular font which changes its thickness internally. It's not like towards the right or left, it just gets bolder standing at the same place. So this can be done to almost any font. So if you have this issue, yes, we can help with that. More than that, this is an example of TT Gnomes Pro. This latest version includes UI icons that are integrated in the font. They change the thickness, the size. This is example of TT Interfaces Pro. If you change like from light to bold, the icon, the tooltip also changes. So usually in UI, you have vector image plus text block, and when you change the size of text or the icon, you have to readjust manually the second element standing next to it. If you use icons integrated in the fonts, they change automatically. They already rebalanced, and you save a lot of time and nerves and leave some space for creativity and maybe for fun and explorations. So you may use ready-to-use icons, or you can integrate your own icons into the typeface with us. So this could be the UI customization as well. And the finally last question is again mine. This is the most common question of all the time, at any place. This is the question number one, like what trends are there? But this specific question is what trends do we currently see in custom typography requests? And this is quite interesting because there is never one specific precise answer to that. But this year we see that the main plan for brands is to stand out, like this slide stands out from the rest of the presentation, to attract attention, to be visible and noticeable. Usually it goes to message visibility when you want to send a specific message from your brand using only typography. You may use a lot of imageries, photo styles, videos, but the message is delivered by the text. People read it on the screen, on the banners outside, on the digital ads, TV, and everywhere around. We read the text. So a lot of brands focus on that. And that is a trend we notice it's rising and rising again and again, to be bold and loud, to be to use variable technology, to be visible like in motion, on like in digital screens, in live ads, that font perform as a standalone element of your design. It could be very creative. Again, not just slant and width and boldness, but it could be display variable access. And a lot of brands, they use tailored customization for their specific needs, like with the UI again. You may have your typeface and you think not about what other brands and what market uses for UI. These brands think that we need to adjust our typeface to perform great in this specific case. This is appearing more and more often in our requests. And already mentioned earlier, ownable intellectual property rights is the trend of this year specifically. We can go with the customization font. We can go font from scratch. If you gain exclusive right with customization or with a font from scratch, this is the main goal of more and more brands, to own the font, to go away, like Julia mentioned, from subscriptions model, even if it's perpetual license. Brands and teams and companies, tops of the companies, prefer to have the font. So the main trend is to solve specific issues or to reach specific goals instead of following any trend. And that's something fresh, to be frank, because usually there is a specific trend to follow. But now companies on global market, it's regardless of what country, for example, we talk about, we see that brands aim to solve some specific task, not to follow. So the final drop of this tile is the myth number 4. You need a completely new typeface from scratch to create a distinctive brand identity. Just to sum up everything we talked about today, no, you don't have to own the font to be distinctive. No, you don't have to create a big typographic system. Even a light customization may help you stand out. If you need it quick, if you need it right now, you can always get back to big projects. You can always have your own font from scratch anytime, even based on the ideas of the customization. If you know us, if you're with us in our webinars for long enough, you know these pictures already. We love this so much. This is a case of a Vietnamese company that produces food for dogs and cats, for pets. And they did a minor customization with us together. First of all, integrated themed icons and images right to the typeface. This is super cute, extremely cute. And then there is another minor details. They changed diacritics to Vietnamese. It has a lot of diacritics. And they change it from just regular shapes to ears and tails of pets. So it looks seamless and nice. The product integrated on the level of the typeface itself, and they use it on packages and websites and everywhere. That's not really big work. We did it, if I'm not mistaken, for 2 weeks of work, something like that. But it changes how you're perceived by the audience. It changes even how you feel about your brand internally as a designer, as a creative, as a brand owner. This is just something to go and to stand out with minor things like stylistic sets. This again, third time today. This is Titinoris Pro. You can change the L, for example, lowercase, to make it more flexible, not just one direct element, or you can go to upright cursive. The third line is completely different. It makes the font be more friendly and more open and more cute. At the same time, just change it manually or with the customization with us, and you get a completely new vibe and feel. So you don't have to go to the big project to stand out. You can just change some element and then receive a new, unique visual identity of your communications. Just built just for your brand and based maybe on your logo type. So that's it. I hope we answered most of your questions, if not all. If you have any questions left, just let us know, send us to the chat right now, or talk to us, or reach out to us, to Julia, to me, and we'll be happy to answer your questions about customizations and font from scratch. This is a little gift for you, a trial library access to our fonts. You may use them in all the projects that are not in production yet. So to try out, to see how it works, how it performs, all of the fonts and typefaces in our trial library are not cut or limited. They're in a full character map. They have all stylistic sets. They have all open type features. And they are the latest version, up to date. So please feel free to test it, to use it. If you like it, get back to us, purchase it, or maybe customize it if you have any idea, or if you want to hear our ideas to how to customize that to match your identity. And on the right, you can see that just a link to our blog with a lot of interesting articles about typography, cases, font in use, and just font matching as well. So that's it. That's my part as ended. This is Julia's face and contact. And if you have any questions, again, please let us know.
I think we have one from Yoshia, and it's about the license and how it is handled for studios or agencies that acts as a middleman between our font studio and the client. It is a good question, and the answer to that is that we can offer again, two approaches. It's super flexible and not necessarily, just one solution. It depends on the scope. Normally, we do add if we're talking about creating some static content, logo, or any materials for print merchandise, that is handled by the studio or an agency. We can either offer to add additional seats to a desktop license, or the better option would be is to add an additional partner extension clause to your current license. For example, if a brand is looking for a font to deploy it on a website for a logo, internal communications, videos, and digital ads. We do offer a package, and we offer additionally a partner extension for agency for any third-party people, collaborators, freelancers that the company will work with, and it will constitute a 20% surcharge on top of the license cost. So this is an additional flexibility for those companies who do work with external partners, not just in-house design teams. So that would be the workflow. It's either adding some additional seats, which is a less favorable option because it does not provide the full flexibility, because the partner extension basically covers all types of usage, even if you create videos and all different content apart from the static one, which is covered by desktop license. So here we can, I would recommend just add a partner extension on top of your license and just have a peace of mind. I hope I answered your question. Thank you so much, Ashay, for your question. Once again, we're open to your questions. If you will leave this webinar and you'll think of something that you forgot to ask or you never dare to ask, feel free to reach out to me or also to commercial@typetype.org. Or simply leave a request on our website if you didn't memorize any of our emails and just want to reach out to us and talk. I'll be able to reach out. My colleagues from the commercial department will be able to reach out. And if we're talking about customization, Sergio or other colleagues from the commercial team, from the project office team, will be able to swoop in with their expertise.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you, Andres,
Thank you.
for the thumbs up. I hope it was informative and insightful for you guys. Once again, we hope that we came across, or the message was received, that it is not as complex as it might seem at a first glance. Just feel free to reach out with any ideas, with any projects, requests, or just questions.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining. Stay tuned for the coming webinars. I think we have some more topics to cover. And have a great evening.
Have
So,
a great one. Take care.
yeah.
Bye.